Let's get it cracking. Let's start the session. Mars linked the competition, balls by that action. You can never debate it. This is actual fact. Stephen A. and Max Kale said they say it's a rap. I'm like, say what? Say what? What's up with all my haters? I'm a ball when I perform. So my jersey's in the air. I'm allergic to my haters. Every morning I prepare. Lot of clothes I can wear just like them Oregon players. Yeah, quack, quack. What it do? Rap like it's nothing to it. Matter of fact, you can ask hard and I'm cooking too. Base guard cooking too. Nah, look at you. Great mind. They embrace mine like a crooked too. 4 takes. That's you. 3 takes. Not me. 2 takes if you lucky. First take. Stop me. 4 takes. That's you. 3 takes. Not me. 2 takes if you lucky. First take. Got me.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into another week of First Take. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend. The boys are in the house. Stephen A., Max Kellerman, how it sound, fellas?
Oh, yeah, we're doing this. Look at that. I gave you one of these.
Beautiful weekend. I'm still moving, but it's a beautiful week.
All right.
Beautiful week.
Too much night last night for ESPN.
Speaking of which, yes, huge congratulations to Ezra Edelman, Connor Schell, and their teams for winning ESPN's first Academy Award last night. OJ Made in America has won the Oscar for Best Documentary Feature.
You know what feels so good about that?
Fellas.
As much as the Academy Awards gets it wrong, it's one thing to be celebrating the victory, and it deserved it.
No question.
So, OJ Made in America is so good. If you have not seen it, watch it. The only thing is you're going to lose sleep for like 2 nights.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I've watched it. Listen,
I've watched it multiple times.
It's 5 episodes. I've seen it 3 times.
Okay.
Right. I've seen it 3 times.
Right.
It's that good.
You can't stop watching it.
It's that good.
Yeah, it's The Wire, only it's a documentary. It's like that kind of TV.
Exactly. You know what else is big time? LeBron James, and he has winning on his mind, and it appears the Cavs are getting him some help to make that come to fruition. Darren Williams has cleared waivers and informed Cleveland he'll sign with the team for the rest of the season for the veterans minimum. That's $900,000, according to our Brian Windhorst. Plus, soon-to-be free agent Andrew Bogut is expected to sign with the Cavs as well after his buyout with the 76ers is complete. That, according to our Tim McMahon. Now, we know Bogut is very familiar with the team they're trying to beat, having played with the Warriors for 4 years. Will these additions to the Cavs, does that allow the Warriors to still be the favorites, or have the Cavs taken over, Max?
The Warriors are still the favorites. And you know what the proof in the pudding is, Stephen A.? The proof in the pudding is boring trade deadline. Nothing really happened at the trade deadline. None of the major moves. The Celtics hung on to their assets. All these teams with assets that could move. Blake Griffin going to go somewhere. Carmelo Anthony, Jimmy Butler. No, no, no. Because the teams with the assets to make those things happen, they're looking at the Warriors and going, for what? We're going to push our chips into the middle of the table to maybe upset the Cavs in the East just to get smacked in the finals by the Warriors? We'll pass. The time isn't right. That's the proof in the pudding that shows you the Warriors are still favorites. Now, does that mean the Cavs can't win? That doesn't mean the Cavs can't win.
Don't hedge.
Darren Williams is a tremendous pickup for them because it cost them nothing. They didn't have to give up any resources to bring on still a great pick-and-roll point guard, which is what you need in the NBA, especially that team, to spell Kyrie and LeBron, who's the primary ball handler often on that team. Yes, the Cavs can still win because LeBron James has shown he's Muhammad Ali against George Foreman. He can upset the apple cart. He can win in a miracle kind of comeback kind of way. But that's what it would take once again to beat the Warriors, who are prohibitive favorites. And again, the proof in the pudding is it was a frozen trade deadline. None of the teams made major moves because they didn't want to push their chips in just to lose in the finals.
The Warriors are no longer the prohibitive favorites. It's just that simple. That doesn't mean they can't win. They're not the prohibitive favorites. And here's why. Not only is LeBron James the reigning defending NBA champion, not only is he, according to you, the greatest player in the world, and myself, but especially you, because you never fail to say that. Okay, he's your league MVP every day, all day, every day of the week.
What happened when he didn't play?
Listen, all I'm saying to you is that you said that. So you say that about LeBron James. You recognize that about the Cleveland Cavaliers. Plus, you were at that Game 7. You saw what happened. And you got to take into account styles of play and how Cleveland was able to impose their will. Because, again, how many times have I said it, Molly? How many times have I said it, Max? It's about styles at times. And if you can engage the Golden State Warriors in a physical confrontation and you get some of those calls and you're able to dictate pace, then that puts you at an advantage. Here's the other thing that gets it a bit tricky. Not only do you have LeBron, not only do you have Kyrie, not only do you now have a backup in Darren Williams, who actually is better than some starters if he just cared enough to be that way because the talent is there. but by acquiring, because the rumors has it that they're going to acquire Andrew Bogut. Well, who's Andrew Bogut? He's a 7-foot guy who I used to call Andrew Bogus until a couple of years ago. But he's a 7-foot guy who's a frontline player, who's a defender, who, by the way, was on the last 2 NBA Finals teams for the Golden State Warriors. Incredibly familiar with who they are, what they like to do, how they like to get things done. So the combination of all those things very well may end up coming down to a LeBron versus Kevin Durant confrontation.
I see what you're doing. Well, first of all, Kyrie versus Steph, too.
Well, I'm saying, but that's secondary.
Okay,
That's
okay.
secondary.
Maybe not in the moment of truth, though.
Secondary.
Maybe not in the moment of truth.
Sure.
I see what you're doing with your styles make fight styles. You show up in the Tom Ford cashmere sport coat talking about style today. Very slick of you, Stephen
I do
A.
look smooth, don't I?
Yeah, it's a nice coat. I'm not going to lie.
I'm sleepy and still look smooth. But go ahead.
Now, the point is, Andrew Bogut is a defensive presence for sure.
Sure.
But to address the Warriors' weakness, their Achilles heel, he would need to be a guy who's really offensively adept in the low post. Like, you really want to exploit where the Warriors may be weak. It's that, a guy who will demand the ball in the post and exploit the fact that they don't have Andrew Bogut there. The irony is, Andrew Bogut, the offensive player, is not the Andrew Bogut to exploit the absence of Andrew Bogut, the defensive player. He's not that kind of offensive player, really. He can do it a little bit, but he's not really that kind of weapon that you can use against the Warriors. I'm not sure what kind of advantage strategically he gives them.
Well, I appreciate you saying that you're not sure, because I'm very sure. Here's what I'm sure about. The way that Andrew Bogut will be utilized will buffer and augment the stature of a Tristan Thompson, who was an absolute beast against him. Not only that, the combination of Bogut with Tristan Thompson could potentially serve to neutralize a Draymond Green. Draymond Green, that Energizer bunny who finds a way just to get things done, an absolute battler and what have you. It's amazing that today we're going to be talking about JaVale McGee later on, because there's going to be a JaVale McGee sighting. He's going to have to show up, okay, and help out Draymond Green, because between Tristan Thompson and an Andrew Bogut, you're going to have, whether it's JaVale or whether it's Zsa Pachulia, okay, you're going to have somebody that helps out Draymond Green on the boards. And I'm not talking about just in terms of rebounding. I'm talking about just battling down low, making sure that the Cleveland Cavaliers are not able to impose their physical will upon you. This is what you're talking about with the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are marksmen, Max. They will shoot long range. They will beat you. That's their strength. That's how they will do it. But keep in mind, they're also very skilled at getting to the basket. Sure. Nobody gives them enough credit. They get to the basket. They put the ball on the floor. They get to the hole. They are capable of finishing.
You have to look. The
concern.
NBA hasn't changed that much in the sense that you still got to get to the paint, whether you post someone up or whether it's dribble penetration. The whole game is still relying, even the spread, pick and roll, and everything. You got to get to the paint, and the Warriors can do that. So I understand that defensive point for the Cavs, but again, offensively, you're not exploiting the Warriors' defense with these acquisitions. 1. 2, let's look at the big picture here, Stephen A. The Warriors collapsed. They were up 3-1. According to you, if Draymond never fouls out, they win. They win the series.
It's a wrap.
Okay. But there was some daylight. I think they probably still lose. Nevertheless, there's debate about that. There's some daylight, and they were exploited by the Cavs. Let's not forget, at home, Game 7. I was there. So were you. 4.5 minutes go by, and the Warriors, the greatest half-court offense in the history of basketball, don't score a single point. So a very unusual thing had to happen for the Cavs to come back, Draymond's suspension, plus that happenstance I just spoke about, for the Warriors to scrape and claw and barely get out by the skin of their teeth on the road with a Game 7 victory. What's happened since then, really?
They acquired Kevin Durant.
The Warriors acquire Kevin Durant, and they lose Harrison Barnes and Festus Ezeli, which were one of the reasons they struggled. Those two players were so inept in that finals that if you simply take them off the team and replace them with anyone else, the Warriors probably win that finals. I mean, that's how bad they were. You take those guys out, you replace them with Durant. And the difference, so it's Durant on the one side between two evenly matched teams. The Warriors probably should have won that series. And on the other side, you add 15 minutes of Darren Williams and whatever's left of Andrew Bogut. And you think that doesn't make the Warriors prohibitive favorites?
Right. Because they're not playing with LeBron. And by the way, you give entirely too much credit to the Warriors' half-court offense last year. I don't. You know what I saw in the Warriors half-court offense last year? When stuff broke down, Steph or Clay pulled up from 40 and all was well with the world.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. That's not a half-court offense. That's not a half-court offense. That's prolific shooters who you couldn't find for those 4 minutes that you talked about.
Well, why were they open?
And by the way, if their offense was so great, first of all, they weren't always open. And secondly, more importantly, if their offense was so great, as much as I love and respect Steve Kerr, how come they didn't find a way to get Klay Thompson the ball? Think about that.
Because Steph was making careless passes and throwing the ball away.
That was one of the reasons, not the only.
Let's stay with LeBron. So we know a real man can own up to his mistakes, and that's exactly what Greeny did on Mike and Mike this morning. Take a listen.
4-19 is the Cavaliers' record in games that LeBron does not play since he came back. This year, they're 0-4 without him. 0-4. He's playing more minutes than anybody. They have the best record in the East. Love has been in and out. Irving is great, obviously. J.R. Smith has barely played. I've changed my mind. Right now, if you gave me an MVP vote, I would give it to LeBron James. If I had the vote. I've been saying Westbrook all year long. When I heard that stat yesterday, I changed my mind. And I would right now, if I were voting, I would vote for LeBron.
Westbrook did have his 29th triple-double last night, but is LeBron the MVP?